Hello everyone! Every person on the planet is so unique and unusual that you won't find two people in the entire world who are the same. Even twins who resemble each other like two peas in a pod have different fingerprints. However, some people are very different from others. Sometimes it's their conscious choice, and sometimes a person is born with some genetic mutation that can't help but affect their appearance. Today, we will tell you about the rarest genetic mutations. Progeria or Hutchinson-Gilford Syndrome. This is a rare genetic mutation that affects one person out of every 5 to 8,000. A child's body begins to age very early usually. From the age of 2, there are already changes such as severe growth retardation and very late appearance of teeth, poorly functioning joints, children are going bald, pronounced flabbiness of the skin, the upper part of the skull becomes larger, the nose takes on a characteristic shape. On average, children with this disease live for about 13 years. In medicine, only one case is known when a Japanese with progeria lived for 45 years. Usually, the death of such people occurs due to strokes and heart attacks. Today, the disease is incurable, but it's possible to extend and improve the quality of life of such children. The main cause of this disease is a mutation in the gene responsible for the formation of the lamin substance. It is the lamin that's involved in the formation of the cell membrane. Girls suffer from this disease twice as rarely as boys. There are about 80 children worldwide with this mutation. Hopefully, scientists will soon be able to invent a cure for progeria in children. Uner Tan Syndrome. A characteristic feature of this disorder is the inability to walk on two legs. People suffering from this syndrome only walk on all fours. The disease is named after a biologist who discovered it by studying an unusual family in Turkey. Usually, people with the condition are born with a brain deficiency. In 2006, a movie was made about the Olas family walking on all fours. According to the scientists, the syndrome is a reverse step in evolution caused by a genetic mutation. Interestingly, all cases of Uner Tan Syndrome have been found in Turkey. Hypertrichosis. This rare condition is also called werewolf syndrome. A werewolf person is born 1 in a billion. People with this condition have an excessive amount of hair on their face, ears, shoulders, and entire body. During fetal formation, the connections between the dermis and epidermis are disrupted, resulting in hypertrichosis. Wiedemann-Rautenstrauch Syndrome. There are not many people with this rare disease in the world. The main signs are premature aging and the inability to gain weight, even if you constantly eat. As a rule, the percentage of fat in such people is 0. But the most interesting thing is that all internal organs, bones, and teeth are healthy. A well-known representative of this syndrome is blogger Lizzie Velasquez. Cystic Hygroma. Another blogger with a very unusual appearance is Marimar Quiroa. This girl was born with a huge tumor on her face that prevents her from speaking. Marimar breathes through a hole in her neck, her right ear is almost inaudible, and she eats through a hole in her stomach. With all this, the girl was able to find the strength to create her own YouTube channel, where she shoots videos about makeup. Previously, Marimar hid her face from the people around her and tried not to appear among people. For this girl, inner beauty is much more important than outer beauty. Marimar lives a full life, studying to be a teacher of the deaf, going to a beauty school, and even becoming a Zumba teacher. Polycephaly. How would we live if we had to share our bodies with someone else? I don't even want to think about it, but some people live with 2 heads. Polycephaly is a rare case of Siamese twins, about 1 in 200,000. Usually it's 2 people with 1 shared torso, each of whom can control their own half of the body. It is very rare for one head to be parasitic, but unfortunately, successfully separating twins does not work. It's almost always fatal. Sirenomelia. This disease is also called mermaid syndrome because of the congenital anomalies of the lower limbs, which resemble a mermaid's tail. Science knows of 300 such cases. A large percentage are born with Sirenomelia among twins, one of whom has the disease. Also, the syndrome affects children whose mothers have diabetes. Boys are affected more often, and the chance of having such a child is 1 in 80 to 100,000. Such children suffer from spinal problems, stomach problems, and lung underdevelopment is particularly common. Proteus Syndrome. A rare condition that affects 1 person in a million. This syndrome affects internal organs, skin, and bones. Such people are prone to thrombosis, benign tumors, and often the body becomes asymmetrical. It happens that sick people are mentally impaired. More often, people are affected in the legs and patients have strabismus. Proteus syndrome is a hereditary disease that occurs very early in the development of the fetus. Analgesia, or congenital insensitivity to pain. This mutation is more common in young children who successfully outgrow it. However, there are cases when this disease passes into adulthood. It may seem that you would be glad that you don't feel pain, but in reality, it's very dangerous. A person can get burned, break bones, may even develop sepsis and not feel anything. Such patients have absolutely no idea about their state of health because nothing bothers them. There are 20 known cases of analgesia worldwide. It was an interesting episode where a woman with this condition could feel pain after giving birth to a child. Epidermodysplasia Verruciformis. This particularly rare disease makes a person prone to the human papillomavirus. It causes papules to form on the skin of the patient. Such growths on the body make a person look like a tree. They form as a rule on areas of the skin that are often exposed to the sun. It's not yet possible to completely cure this disease, but it's possible to slow down or even slightly suspend the formation of new papules. The world learned about this disease when people watched a video of a man from Indonesia who was covered with papules. He underwent numerous surgeries to remove the growths, but unfortunately, after a while, they began to appear again. Argyria. This quite rare mutation is also known as blue skin syndrome. This abnormality is caused by an excess of silver in the human body. Many people have seen a picture of Paul Carson, whose skin has turned a gray-blue color, like Smurfs. This happened because a Californian often consumed a bowl of water and colloidal silver. Paul Carson died of a heart attack. There is another known case where a man's skin turned gray-blue, and his hair became lighter because of runny nose drops containing silver. Ectrodactyly. In this condition, a person's hands or feet look like pincers because of underdeveloped or missing fingers. Often such people are deaf. This mutation is caused by a malfunction in the 7th chromosome. It happens that the patient's fingers grow together. In such cases, doctors manage to separate them. After the release of the movie The Witches with Anne Hathaway, many people with this syndrome were outraged. The audience was outraged by the image of the main witch, whose hands looked exactly like those of Ectrodactyly patients. Afterward, Anne Hathaway apologized to the audience and said she was sorry she didn't know that before. Trimethylaminuria. This disease is one of the rarest in the world. There is not even any data on the number of people with this disease. In such patients, trimethylamine, a substance with a very unpleasant odor like rotten eggs and fish, accumulates in the body. When a person sweats, trimethylamine is released from the body and it is impossible to be near the person. Such people naturally avoid public places and often suffer from depression. Xeroderma pigmentosum. Xeroderma pigmentosum is considered a hereditary disease. People with this mutation are very sensitive to the sun. Symptoms of the disease often appear in early childhood. Being in the sun, the child has severe burns on the body, dry skin, and freckles all over the body. Such people are most susceptible to the development of skin cancer. Scientists know of 8 types of this disease today. Statistically, 4 out of 1 million people suffer from Xeroderma pigmentosum. Polythelia. Polythelia is a rare genetic disorder that causes 1 person in 18 to have 1 or more extra nipples on the body. They look like small birthmarks or spots. Polythelia is an atavism, as additional nipples must disappear even before birth. But it happens that a person is born with even 6 or 8 nipples. There are about 200,000 such people in the United States. Among famous actors, Mark Wahlberg, Tilda Swinton, and Lily Allen suffer from polythelia. There are many people born into the world who are unlike the rest. Genetic mutations are to blame for that. Today, society must finally become kinder and more tolerant of other people who suffer because of their disease. Which genetic mutation impressed you the most? Write in the comments and subscribe to the channel.